I can't necessarily make it any. Oh wait, some people say they can't hear anything. Um, when I was just playing the audio. Okay, I'm going to play the audio again, and you let me know if you can hear anything. If you can't hear anything, let me know. All right. So
Zealand City. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14.
all right, you should be able to hear that. All right, you should be able to hear that just fine. If not, I can't do anything about that right now. If it was a universal problem, I would do something. But okay. All right. I want to start. I can't keep going back and forth.
Section 2. You will hear a podcast about an area called the Sheep Market in a New Zealand city. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14.
مش هلا الساعة 3 بتاع الفصل.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14. Welcome to this podcast about the sheep market, which is one of the oldest parts of the city. As its name suggests, there was originally a market here where farmers brought their sheep, but now it's been redeveloped into a buzzing, vibrant area of the city, which is also home to one of the city's fastest growing communities. The nearby university has always meant the area is popular with students who come in to enjoy the lively nightlife. But now graduates embarking on careers in the worlds of fashion and design are buying up the new apartments recently built here to replace the small houses where the market workers used to live. The narrow old side streets are great places for finding original pictures, jewellery and ceramics which won't break the bank, as well as local produce like fruit and vegetables. There's also lots of pavement cafes where you can have a coffee and watch tourists from all over the world go by. The oldest buildings in the area are on the main streets, including the city's first department store, built in the 1880s, which is still open today. The sheep market is a centre for fashion, and there's a policy of encouraging new young designers. The Young Fashion Competition is open to local young people who are passionate about fashion. This year, they've been asked to design an outfit based on ideas from the music and technology that's part of their everyday life, using both natural and man-made fibres. The garments will be judged by a panel of experts and fashion designers, and the winning entries will be modelled at a special gala evening. Parking at the sheep market is easy. There are plenty of pay and display car parking spaces on the roadsides, which are fine if you just want to stay for an hour or two. But if you want to spend the day there, it's better to park in one of the 4 underground car parks. It's not expensive, and if you can present a receipt from one of the local stores, you'll not be charged at all. After 6 p.m, many of the car parks have a flat rate which varies, but it is usually very reasonable. Before you hear the rest of the podcast, you have some time to look at questions 50.
Okay. All right. So I want to go through the answers now. All right. Does anybody have the answer for number 11? All right. So the correct answer for number 11 is A, right? Now I'm going to explain why the answer was A. All right, the first thing we have to do is we have to recognize the keyword language from the question. So what did they say? Right, when they said it was the home to the fastest growing, right, when I heard that language, right, I knew that was the synonym language for when they said most rapidly growing group, right, most rapidly growing group. I knew that was that language, okay? And actually, I'm going to put that up here. Home to fastest growing. Right, when they said that, I knew that was the right answer choice. Now, I'm going to back up the tape for a second because I want to point out something to you in terms of when they said this particular answer choice.
15 to 20. Philly, and answer questions 11 to 14. Welcome to this podcast about the sheep market, which is one of the oldest parts of the city. As its name suggests, there was originally a market here where farmers brought their sheep, but now it's been redeveloped into a buzzing, vibrant area of the city, which is also home to one of the city's fastest growing communities. The nearby university has always meant the area's popular with students who...
Right, now, this is where how they're trying to trick you. Right here, exact language. Right, they say exact language for the word university. Right, they also said exact language for the word students. Right, so what they're doing here is they're trying to pull people into this question. All right, but this is not the answer. But a lot of students, especially if you don't have a high level of English, what a lot of students are doing when they mess up on these multiple choice questions is they're sitting there and they're listening for them to say words in the answer choices. And so what a lot of students are doing is they're sitting there and saying, I heard the word student, I heard the word university, I'm going to pick that answer choice. The IELTS people know that when you do this, it doesn't represent a high level of English. Right? Now, after they say this, they're going to say the correct answer choice, but they're going to use synonym language. Right? They're going to say the correct answer choice, but they're going to use synonym language. So listen to it carefully, please.
Its fastest growing community here where farmers brought their sheep, but now it's been redeveloped into a buzzing, vibrant area of the city, which is also home to one of the city's fastest growing communities. The nearby university has always meant the area's popular with students who come in to enjoy the lively nightlife. But now graduates embarking on careers in the worlds of fashion and...
Right, so graduates embarking on careers. Right, graduates embarking on careers. That is synonym language for young professional people. Also, when they said students and from university students, they said what? But. Right? Very often they'll tell you something, then they'll say but. What that's telling you is very often what they just said is not the answer choice. All right? And then our correct answer choice is going to use synonym language. Okay? Graduates is for graduates embarking on careers. The synonym for young professional people. That means our answer choice is A. Right? Our answer choice is A. Okay? So I hope you see how that works. All right? And also, everybody, when you put in an answer choice, put the number and then put the number and then put whatever the answer is, okay? Otherwise, I'll have ABCs all over the place and I don't know what question you're applying it to. Okay, so I hope everybody understands how this works because people keep asking me, I can't do multiple choice questions. I don't know how to do them. And that's because you have to apply the right strategy. It's about synonym language. Okay, everybody, what is the correct answer for number 12? Okay, so let's listen to it, and I'm going to try to point this out. All right, some of you all are still falling for that same trap. Okay, I'm listening for what? The speaker is going to recommend something. The speaker is going to recommend something. So when you're listening, the first thing you have to do is don't look at the answer choices and just say, okay, which one do I hear? Which one do I hear words for? When you're doing that, you're making a huge, huge mistake. The first thing you should be listening for is language that means the same as recommendation. Right? That's the first thing you should be listening for. Language that means the same as recommendation. Because when you hear that language, then you're going to have the answer choice. Okay? That's how it works. So please listen, and I'll point this out to you again, please.
Design are buying up the new apartments recently built here to replace the small houses where the market workers used to live. The narrow old side streets are great places for finding original.
There's the language. Are great places for finding. When somebody says this is a great place to find something, that's a recommendation. That's the language. Okay? That's the language. So if you're unable to recognize when they're saying the language that's connected to the answer choice, then what you're going to end up doing is picking answers that you hear, picking words that you hear, which is the biggest mistake that you can make. So you have to hear the language connected to the answer. All right, so listen. And then after that, and also like I told you, the correct answer is going to use synonym language.
Built here to replace the small houses where the market workers used to live. The narrow old side streets are great places for finding original pictures, jewelry, and ceramics which won't break the bank, as well as local produce like fruit and vegetables. There's also lots of pavement cafes where you can have a coffee and watch tourists from all over the world go by. The oldest buildings in the area are on the main streets, including the city's first department store, built in the 1880s.
All right, now this is why some people picked choice B, because they heard the word buildings. This is an exact language trap, right? That wasn't a recommendation. What did they say? What did they say after they said are great places for finding? They said what? Great places for finding pictures. Great place for finding pictures, jewelry, and ceramics. Okay, what is that synonym language for? That's synonym language for arts and crafts. Right? But again, you have to recognize, again, so when somebody else, I think the other one was said you can watch people from around the world, they said nothing about restaurants. They said you could watch people from around the world. Okay? But again, the answer connected to the language, that's how it works. Okay? Synonym language, related to synonym language. Okay? And now this is only in section 2. All right? Remember, the exam gets progressively more difficult. It gets progressively more difficult. This is only there, but they're going to do the same thing in section 3 with the multiple choice questions. All right, next one. What's the answer to number 13? Excuse me. Okay, great. Most of you are getting it in terms of question number 13. Very good.
Which is still open today. The sheep market is a centre for fashion, and there's a policy of encouraging new young designers. The young fashion competition is open to local young people who are passionate about fashion. This year, they've been asked to design an outfit based on ideas from the music and technology that's part of their everyday life.
All right. Right. They said they've been asked to design based on music and technology. What is the synonym? They've been asked to design based on. That means this is what you must do. Okay, this is what you must do. Been asked to design on music and technology. Synonym language for that answer choice is be inspired by aspects of contemporary culture. Okay, that is our synonym language match. Okay, synonym language for number 11, synonym language match for number 12, synonym language match for number 13. Okay, all right, answer to number 14, please. All right, when you all are putting your answers again, what I need you to do is do like this. That's what I need you to do. All right, don't just put B. Okay. All right, so what are we listening for? We know whatever our answer is, it has to be connected to synonym language for free. Okay? Whatever our answer is. No, frankly, I cannot give you a copy of the PDF. All right? I cannot do that. Okay? I can't give you Cambridge materials. All right? So please don't ask. I cannot do that. All right? It's not a matter of if I want to or not. It's I can't give it to you. Okay? That's why I tell people in the very beginning, you have to get these things from Cambridge or get this from Cambridge. You know, if I could give it to you guys, I would just give it to you, but I cannot do that. Okay? All right. I want to, but I can't. All right. So language, that means the same as free.
Using both natural and man-made fibers. The garments will be judged by a panel of experts and fashion designers, and the winning entries will be modelled at a special gala evening. Parking at the sheep market is easy. There are plenty of pay and display car parking spaces on the roadsides, which are fine if you just want to stay for an hour or two. But if you want to spend the day there, it's better to park in one of the 4 underground car parks. It's not expensive, and if you can present a receipt from one of the local stores, you'll not be charged at all.
All right. So what did they say? All right. What's the language they said? They said, if you can present a receipt from a store, not be charged. Right? So that's our language that we have to be. That's the language that, yeah, Kareem, that's what you're listening for. Not be charged, free. All right. So if you could present a receipt from a store, you won't be charged. So I hope everybody has a good idea now. I hope everybody has a good idea now of how you're supposed to do and manage multiple choice questions. It doesn't matter if it's section 2 or section 3 or even section 4, where most of the time in section 4 is fill the blank. But even in section 4, sometimes you can have it as multiple choice. But the strategy is the same, whether it's section 2, 3, or 4. Section 1, sometimes if you have multiple choice, it could be more direct. But even there, they still are playing around with the language. But what I was trying to do is show you, in terms of when you're doing multiple choice questions, your job, your main job you have to do to be successful is being able to recognize the language in the question that's going to connect to the answer. If you're able to recognize the language in the question that's going to connect to the answer, then you know what you need to listen for. Okay?